flash photographer at that particular moment. You are going to shoot a picture, and presumably it is with flash. Still, when you go on location, somewhat ironically, what is the most important light? I don't care. The ambient light, right? It doesn't matter if you have 10 speedotrons in the trunk of your car, okay? The basic driver for your solution, well, it might not matter if you have 10 speedotrons, because then, you know, you can nuke whatever you approach. But with small flash, as small flash lighting folks, your driver is ambient light. What's the most important light for me right here? What exists in the store? I have to either beat it to a pulp, or I have to integrate it into my photograph, or I have to manage to subdue it, or accent it, or curve it, or bend it to my favor. And that is a question of doing a do-si-do with the existing light pattern, okay? So the game of ratios. What exists, what do you apply over what exists? If I go outside right now and I take a picture, okay, my lovely friend here, outside, okay, and she is at 250 at f8, and I make a picture of her at 250 at f8. What is also at 250 at f8? Out there. Everything. The building, the trucks, you know, everything. I haven't differentiated the exposure template. But I light my subject, and I bring some measure of flash to bear, and I bring my foreground subject. I formalize my foreground. Think of it as that. You're formalizing your foreground. You're making the foreground look the way you want it to look. And I bring that foreground to 250 at f11. What have I now done? I've squashed the background. I've differentiated the exposure landscape. I have emphasized my foreground and decreased the importance of my background. The eye automatically goes to light and bright. We cannot help it. We are physiologically programmed to have our eyes go to light and bright. So if I'm going to light someone here and decrease the volume or the noise from my background, I've said what to my viewer of my photograph? This person's important. This is just context. That is a very powerful psychological message that you send to someone you're never going to meet. Always remember, you're not in the room with your photographs when they get viewed. If you throw them up on the web, anybody can look at them and say and feel anything they want about them. They can write you a nasty note. You know, I have been the recipient of many nasty notes. You know, you're not there trying to explain yourself. You're not there saying, "Oh man, but it was raining, and the boat capsized, and I had all manner of difficulties, and oh my God, I've tried that swan song with my editors at the National Geographic. They are massively uninterested, okay? They are completely dispassionate when it comes to your troubles, because they don't give a shit about the photography. Let's be straight up about it, okay? They could care less about what you went through to get the picture. Their job is on the line. They care about the photograph that you bring back, and whether it's imparted the emotional, informational, and kind of pictorial information that they are seeking, that they can put in the magazine. And you could have died out there, and they'd be like, you know, that was really too bad for him, you know. But thankfully, he was smart enough to put his stuff on a flash drive, and I got it. So he gave it to his messenger before he passed on. So, you know, let's have a moment of silence for Joe. And, okay, now, let me see, frame 37. Yeah. I'm only mildly exaggerating. So the thing about it is, you are never there to explain yourself. Your photograph has to speak to someone you're never going to meet. So your photograph has to be articulate, and the way it's articulate is if you use light well, okay? And that's the message that you're sending to your viewer. Look here, you're giving someone a psychological roadmap to your photograph, right through the foreground, middle ground, and background, depending on what you accent and what you like. Yes, sir?
Also, maybe give us some more thoughts on how you're thinking about the color of light, ambient flash, using the color gel. What color do you want to make the ambient flash?
Sure. Yeah, when we get into shooting, we'll deal with some color. Definitely, we'll deal with the color of what exists, and we'll deal with, maybe we'll gel the store, maybe we'll make the store look a little space age, or, you know, something along those lines, I don't know. Color quality of certain lights or certain flashes. in the sense of what is their inherent color balance, or
colors.
True enough, true enough. I mean, there are very sophisticated, very expensive strobes out there that monitor color quality, monitor, give you information as to their flash duration, all of that sort of stuff. I am not there, okay, in terms of the work that I do, because I'm not a still life photographer. I'm not in the studio. Control it's on my mind, but it's not an absolute parameter that I observe. I'm not doing jewelry for Neiman Marcus or something. I'm an editorial photographer. I'm in the world. I realize that I oftentimes operate at the whim of the world. Like, you look at these lights in here. Can I control the color quality of what exists in this store? Lord knows. I mean, these fluorescents here might be different from those. Okay? These got changed last week. Those have been in for 5 years. They're all burning at different color temperatures. So my theory about color is that I go for skin tone, and if I have to, I let everything else go to hell in a handbasket. No, I mean, I go for skin tone, and I use good quality lights. My bigger flashes are Elinchroms. They're very consistent in their color output. The disconnect sometimes that I have observed is the smaller speed lights. Daniel, are you around? No. The speed lights, if you integrate them into a larger flash scenario, have a different color balance than the larger flashes. Especially if you run those larger flashes through a big light shaper, like an indirect softbox or something like that. They tend to come out in a more warmish tone. Okay, especially like my Elinchroms, I have them UV protected with domes that are the equivalent of an 81A filter. Okay, they are slightly warm right from the get-go. So when I integrate a small flash with them, I know that highlight, I might pop a small flash off the shoulder or something like that. That highlight relative to my main light is probably going to be a little bluish looking. So I kind of am tuned in on that level. All right, let's do this. Let's start shooting pictures. We'll not do the slideshow. We've already kind of gone through. Is that cool with everybody? All right. Is it?